Oh, so welcome to Suresh Kavali, the last session for today, but it's not the least. I think we will have some kind of discussion after the event. It's a 7 p.m. to 8 p.m. today. So one of the most important, most relevant topic of today. That's the reason we kept it in the evening. So the audience get excited about this. The topic is, before I give you the introduction, how to use artificial intelligence capabilities in conducting strategy analysis. I think the audience will like this title to their heart because it's very contemporary and very relevant for this period of time with Gen AI and other AI capabilities. Okay, so I would like to welcome Suresh uh, Garu to the event. Okay, so thank you, Suresh Garu, for joining us today. Uh, so let me give you a quick introduction. Mr. Suresh Kavili is a passionate and dynamic technology leader with a proven track record of guiding diverse teams to success. With a deep understanding of technology roadmaps and market strategies, Suresh led numerous pre-sales and solutioning initiatives while optimizing delivery centers. His expertise spans various business functions, including P&L management, strategy planning, pre-sales, leadership, change management, and fostering innovation. As a mentor, motivational speaker, and PMP trainer, he is dedicated to the nurturing talent and inspiring teams to reach their full potential. So, join hands with me to invite Suresh Garu for the event. So, over to you, Suresh Garu. Please proceed.
Thank you, Abdulji, for your quick introduction, and I appreciate for the opportunity provided here. And good morning, and good evening, and good night for everyone who is online. Thank you for joining. So, yeah, as Abdul said, let me run through uh, where we stand in terms of the AI and what are the possibilities that we can do in the supply chain management with AI. So, let me share my screen. Hope you could see my screen, right, Abdul?
Yeah, it's visible, yes. Yeah.
Okay, thank you. All right. So, as I have been following the last session, 6 7 sessions that we ran since morning, uh, we heard enough about the supply chain management as well as the strategy that it involves. So I'll just give simplifying statement of it, like where when a business would like to move from the current state to the future state or to be state, we need to make transition. It's nothing but change management is what we heard from the previous speakers. So as part of this journey, we are going to define this strategy. So as part of this strategy, what to consider? We need to consider primarily the context, on which context you are trying to do. What is that? Is it kind of uh, technological enhancements or upgradations, or venturing into a new geographic area for your business activities, or you are getting into a new domain or new client pool? These are the many context based questions that need to be answered first before we defining the any strategy activities. Then what are the other key ingredients that we need to consider for strategy need to be successful? First of all, the strategy nothing but the multidisciplinary activities that you need to carry the transition more effectively with the limited risks in hand. In order to do that, what is that you need to do, and how this AI is going to help, and what are the possibilities that AI is having in each stage of the supply chain management? Because strategy is not something specific to one module or the entire organization. We can club it, mix and match of for the entire solution or parts of the solution. So as part of that, so the stakeholders who are the people involved, and what is the value that you're going to generate, and what is the solution for the need that arises that you need to make a transition, and how you're going to effectively manage that change. These are the things that one need to consider in order to make your strategy successful. So let's little understand the way the strategy and what need to be considered. I gave the little background. I'm going to give little understanding of what are the AI related activities or the tools or strategies that we have that can align and bring some value to the supply chain management and strategy. So, and before moving, when I say that the strategy, the multidisciplinary activities that you are going to lay down and then you're going to execute. So, strategy is not going to be just a one-time task that you are going to do it. Yes, as we have keep on hearing from we heard from the previous speakers, the assumptions that you are going to make that something going to go in this manner or certain scenario that I'm going to do in this way going to produce certain results for me. Those kind of scenarios and the expectations need to be continuously reviewed, measured, and realigned as you progress. Strategy is not going to be just one-time activity; it is going to be a continuously improved and as well as adjusted process that you are going to carry, unless there are a certain predefined fixed rules based activities that you do. Most of the time it works in that way. So in those kind of scenarios or context, the AI is going to best fit because the nature of the AI is, yes, rather than you just making the assumptions, let it learn based on your earlier experiences, the data that you provide, let it learn, and from there it is going to derive the possible predictions that it is going to do. So that way it will be a great addition to your strategy. So let me give a little gnan or understanding on the AI. So we all keep hearing about the AI, and then within that we also have machine learning and deep learning, and also nowadays it is Gen AI, generative AI. So it's a discipline. AI is a discipline. When you say discipline, is nothing but we are providing a human intelligence to the system. We are providing a human intelligence to the system. Then machine learning comes where from the earlier experiences that whatever you have, it will be able to learn from the previous experiences and then it is going to simulate them. Then we have deep learning where we'll be having the kind of neural networks which is going to solve the complex problems, a deep understanding of the data that you provided, and then it is going to come up with whatever the understanding that we have expecting certain problems to be solved. It will be doing in that manner. Then we have the generative AI, which is going to create the all together a new brand content or whatever the images or videos or 3D audios, all these are going to generate from scratch. Whereas in the previous ones, it is going to work in terms of the deep learning, where we'll be coming across something known as a traditional AI. We call that as a traditional AI. In the traditional AI, in the deep learning, you'll be undergoing the pre-existing data. That's where you come across a time uh, classification and clustering are the major activities that you'll be doing in terms of providing certain existing data and then forecasting and generating the predicts based on the data that you provided is big, where the traditional AI is going to fit into it. And then the generative AI, all the images you see over here, I just generated it myself going to the AI tools. Is coming from the scratch. So the possibility of regenerating the same image is very, very, very less. Even AI will not generate the same image for you. If you're going to ask the same tools to regenerate it, no. It is everything about context based, what are the information you are providing, and it is going to generate the new image from the scratch every time. So all of these, whatever the images that you want, or if you want any content that you want to generate, and then any audio files or any video files or 3D images that you want to generate, you can use Gen AI or generative AI. We'll learn a little more about what are the various tools and techniques are available, and before jumping in, even understand a little bit more, because it will be a little confusing under the AI, as we have the AI, ML, deep learning, and we also call traditional AI under generative AI. Once again, I'm repeating it: learning from the experiences and adapting to the whatever the new identifications that it is coming up. That is machine learning, whereas traditional AI is completely rule based. In the sense, at a certain event of the time you perform this particular task with more precision in place. That's where the traditional AI will fit. Then generative AI, it's altogether generating the new content from the scratch the way you want it. And these three are not in terms of replacing each other. These three are three different use cases that you need to consider, or the requirement or the problem that you want to solve. You have to employ one or two or all of them as needed based on your complexity of the problem. Now, in either of the cases, data need to be provided. That is something default. Without data, AI cannot perform any task. So we are going to provide the data, large volumes of the data we are going to provide. Based on the data, these AI models are going to learn and start responding, start performing the tasks that are needed as per the instructions provided by the, again, a designer or a programmer. So as you could see over here, the multiple iterations that it takes place in terms of when we design any models, the several iterations it goes inside in order to identify the expected results. It's not one-time task, repetitively doing. We have something known as a epochs as per technical terminology, and then supervised and then unsupervised. These two will come under the traditional AI, where under supervised, you'll be providing a large chunk of data and you'll be labeling the sample data. By that, AI will start mapping the large volume of data that you provided against the sample data that you provided. And then unsupervised data. In the unsupervised data, we don't have any labeled information. You just provided the all the data to the AI model to figure it out, whatever you want. So when I say whatever you want, the major problems it solves are classification problems, and then clustering, in the sense grouping the relevant characteristics elements together or the images together. And then other one is predictions or forecasting. Two primary problems traditionally AI will be solving. One is classification, nothing but grouping the relevant, it could be images or any of the objects that you provided. And then the second one is forecasting. Based on the data you provided, if you ask what is the probability of reoccurring of certain information and how it is going to be, it could be the sales, it could be the production, or it could be the weather, whatever it is, based on the existing data, it is going to predict. These are the two major problems solved in traditional AI. But coming across the generative AI, here are the few things that I gave where it can fit the traditional AI, also called classical or symbolic AI, operates on rule-based systems or preset instructions. Because we know that what it need to perform next to that, because there is a pre-existing data that you are providing for this particular model to perform, and then it is predictable and consistent. Yes, the Gen AI, as I said, you cannot expect the same image again. If you're going to ask the same tool with the same prompt, it will not be able to produce. But whereas in the traditional AI, you can expect the consistent results. So when we have the clearly defined rules, then we'll be able to apply that. And it cannot learn from the new experiences. Again, you need to feed in, and again, you need to train it. And then it will be able to provide the reasoning why it was able to make certain information available for us, the output for us, and what decisions that it took inside. Example, chess game, automated customer services, GPS navigation, where the expectation is very clear for the user and also the system to perform from where to navigate, and in the automated customer services for a series of questions that customer is going to ask on the services of the organization, what it need to respond. So these things are very clear cut rule based, pre-existing rule based, so we'll be able to implement easily. Then Gen AI completely changes the way that things works. And just in 2022, 2 years back, we have witnessed that Gen AI. AI is there last, I could say, almost more than a decade it is active, and much earlier than that also, last 1 to 3 decades, AI is present. But the kind of problems it is solving, the way we are able to apply it easily and effortlessly and in very quick manner, the way we use the AI is getting changed day to day. And especially in the Gen AI, almost every month, the changes are coming up. Simplifying it, innovating the more areas, and making your activities much more simpler. That's what happening in the Gen AI. So in the Gen AI, what you can do, you can create new content, data, and images or videos. So we all know that nowadays any movie to make, it is taking, let's say, a couple of months to the year with all the tools and the digital the concepts in place. Still it is taking that long because the uh, movie characters or whatever the artists are there, they need to travel to a different places in order to shoot it. But the way the AI is coming up, especially Gen AI, you just need to have couple of days that characters who are playing the roles need to be dressed in the different characters that they're going to play within the movie for the 2 hours 3 hours of movie, and then you will be able to instruct the Gen AI in order to generate your entire movie just in a couple of days. Rather than going for the months and years, you can do that. To that extent, it is coming up. And then each time it is going to provide a unique output and new music and new innovations. It could be pharmaceutical side or whatever it is. And then it merges the capabilities of the machine learning and traditional AI. So generates new data instead of the prediction. So traditional AI, I said two problems: the classification problem and the predictions, forecasting or predictions. So, but in the Gen AI, it's all together providing a new content. So we need to see that kind of segregation of the machine learning and traditional AI based activities and Gen AI based activities. It's not that Gen AI is coming and I need to drop the traditional AI. It's not the case. Everything is required, and each one of them is having their own pros and cons in different areas. All right. Whereas in the traditional AI, most of the time will be providing the kind of structured data, but whereas in the Gen AI, it works across the unstructured data. It could be the documents, it could be the websites, it could be the audio files, it could be the videos. It could be the databases if there is a technical resources in the technical audience. It could be the databases, it could be the CRM systems, it could be the ERP systems, it could be the log files. You just provide whatever you have. It has the abilities to perform the analysis and respond to you. So we'll see a little more deeper inside. I'm just setting the context for you, what it is going to do and how it is, what are the possibilities. I said limitless possibilities. Yes, you just need to imagine. You just need to imagine, and just you need to instruct the Gen AI to produce what you want. But at the same time, yes, there are certain cautions too, something we need to be keeping in the mind. The deep fake, we all know that how it is impacted last quarter to 2 quarters time, including Infosys founders to the some cine celebrities and all these got impacted. So biased information about the countries or whatever the other nationalities or etc. And then misinformation providing about certain things. All these need to be a little navigated during the Gen AI. You should not be ignoring this. How to do, what to do? Yes, I do have certain information provided over here that will be able to run through. All right. So let me give a slow and a deep understanding of how we exactly do it and what kind of learning process required over here. So compared to the traditional AI and machine learning, where a set of algorithms that you need to be mastering for clustering and as well as predictions, and also the data volumes and the simulations and the model designing that you need to do, all of them will be absorbed internally. All of them will be absorbed internally and provided a simple API for us to consume it and then use it with very simple techniques. So somebody who is, I could expect that both technical and non-technical audience in the session. So for the technical audience, yes, there is something for technical audience and there is something for non-technical audience too. It's nothing but business users and the management and the operational staff. So for technology people who are going to work in terms of producing the solutions, for the non-technical people to use it with very limited information to provide for the solutions provided by the technical people. So the Gen AI is for both the parties. It's not for only technology people. All right. So in order to do that, we have something known as a LAN chain. It's an open source API that is having the ability in order to do all the activities that Gen AI is required to do. So it's very powerful. API came up. Last 1.5 years, we have seen a good number of changes every month. We are seeing the changes and what are the solutions we are providing. We have to adapt to it and very fast-paced manner. So what do we have? So we generally, most of us use the chat GPT. So in the chat GPT, it is a public data that is available. You go ahead and then you provide a prompt in order to get your responses. You query it, it responds. So at the lowest level, we are using in terms of like, for example, if you are a technology person, you go and ask certain issues that you are facing, copy paste it, it will give you the possible solution, fix. Same way, if you're a non-technical person, you go and ask certain questions to the uh, chat GPT in terms of what is the current GDP of India. It may not be able to answer the current GDP of the India because they have just limited information. They say that as on, let's say 2022 September, or we are already past 2 years. So maybe 2023 September, it will say that this is the data that I have in my database that I can respond. It won't give you the data till date. Even if you ask, for example, at my current state where I am in India, so the chief minister got changed in December. My neighbor state chief minister got changing in just in another couple of days. So this information is not available in your the public GPTs that are available. Now, what if I want to have this organization specific or the most relevant data to the current happenings? Then the way we need to go is one is, of course, you can go under pay to the chat GPT to use it, or we can design the solutions for the corporates or entities or organizations based on the content that they provide. That is where the first step starts. That is, you take the documents or video files, audio files, or training materials. Have seen for a bank an extensive training material where certain cadre and above in the bank staff every quarter they need to demonstrate certain areas of qualifying the exams by going through the material provided by the banks. If they don't do it, they won't get further promotions or whatever the increments that they are aligned. So such a documentation I have seen is a very high volume of documentation and simulations If you go for the airlines and all that, there are good number of simulations. Bring all the data. It could be our text files or PDF files or audio files, video files. You bring the data and provide to the LangChain models, where it is going to make use of certain the LLM models that is going to take this data and provides the chunks in the sense just tokenizing the data, approximately 4 characters. If you provide, let's say, hundreds of the pages, in each of the page, the what are the text content that it is present, it is going to provide approximately 4 characters into one chunk, and it is going to store a specially made database that is called index database. A specially made database called index database. Example, one of it like vector store. There are many other alternatives. So this data will be stored there in the vector store. Same way, the way vector store is having the data, that is highly indexed data for easy fetching. Same way, imagine our chat GPT is having billions of tokens or tokenized data or chunks of the data. That is where it is able to respond like a human, not as exactly as a human, but close to the human interaction. What the Google search and the chat GPT search difference is? The context or the session management. Whereas in the Google, each individual question is unique. It cannot associate the relation between the previous and current. Whereas in the GPTs, you'll be able to correlate the relation between the previous and current and answer it in conjunction to the previous question and answer rather than giving the siloed answer. That's the key difference. That way, it will be more of a conversation you are having rather than a question answer. Same feature you will be able to get by taking this data. We call that concept called embeddings. Embeddings creation is the first step that will be carrying in the LangChain activities. In order to do that, we have something known as a LLM, large language models. Large language models. What it does? The large language model LLM is having the feature of NLP slash NLU. NLP slash NLU is nothing but natural language processing and natural language understanding. So LLMs are capable of understanding the human conversation. So whenever you are working in this space, whenever you are working with ChatGPT, you go to the extent of as if you're instructing to just a young girl or a boy, rather than you considering you are answering to a professional like us. No, it is more of built for the natural way of querying and you extracting your data and information from with a very low level querying itself. You need not to go for the professional querying. Now, here it is given like in terms of GPT-3, GPT-4. What are these? The chat GPT that we are using, underlying it is using the GPT-3, and the GPT-3 was, I think, approximately a couple of weeks back from GPT-3. GPT-4 has been released to us, but it is having certain limitation because they want to cache it. Every product-based company, they want to cache it, right? So they will provide a daily certain limit for you to access. But otherwise, this is what the number 175 billion. The tokens that I specified over here, out of the tokens, when you query it, it takes 175 billion parameters. 175 billion parameters. What is meant by parameters? Let's say for our session, what are the parameters that is considered? Yes, I need to have a good internet connectivity. I need to have a system in place, and I should be in a position to talk without any issues in terms of the cold cough. And I need to have a good lighting room in order to present myself. And you need to have the device at your side in order to access over the mobile or uh, on your laptop, and you need to have internet at your place. And I can keep on adding more and more. The facilitator, the organism, and the navigating or voice instructions and all these. So all this can be considered as a parameters. As I listed around a dozen of parameters, 12 parameters or 15 parameters here for our session. Then imagine there are 175 billion parameters in GPT-3. From there, it came up with GPT-4. It is further added additional 3 more digits to it. So it is 175 billion. It is, you can add up additional 100, multiply 100. So that comes to 175k billion. That many, what I could say, parameters has been added. That is where it is able to respond close to the human interaction. Close to the human interaction. That's the background. Now, that is the LLM that we are applying ourselves, because in order to embed it, and as well as we have relative augmented generation RAG is there. In order to do that, we have to apply this LLM. At the bottom, I listed here, that is not only the chat GPT, the GPT based LLMs, we have the Claude, Llama 3, and Mistral, and then Gemini, and there are a few more. OpenAI. So there are a few more LLMs, so which are providing the similar kind of feature. But as we all know, every solution will be having certain pros and cons. Each one of them also having certain pros and cons. Like for example, Gemini, good at images compared to the GPT. But however, GPT coming up with the enhanced parameters, it's also performing very good nowadays. The couple of the images that I have shown, yes, I used the chat GPT to generate them, but it works only on the licensed version. Now, that's where the parameters that we discussed. And then over here, so the question, once you have the data embedded into the database, the highly indexed DB, the vector databases, you'll be going and querying it to the LLM on certain aspects. If you query the LLM is going to check into the vertex DB or highly indexed DB that you have, the embeddings, whatever you placed it there, it is going to scan through it. During that scan, I just shown you earlier, 2 slides earlier, we had seen that kind of mesh structures where we have the multiple layers. I said that it won't do in a single iteration. It keep on moving. It keep on moving until it finds the reasonable answer. Then it comes back. Nothing but we're making a search on certain information that you provided. For example, if it is a supply chain management, let's imagine last 10 years data you have fed into the supply chain management data to the LLM. Now we are going to query, hey, I want as on, let's say, before COVID, 2019, December, I want certain metrics. What is the volume of the data we generated and how we have done and what is the cost it involved. All this you can just query it, it will be able to respond. Did we build any of the tools like the way we did in the traditional AI? No, absolutely no. Now, the Gen AI is going to build that information for you, whatever the underlying processing it need to be done. It will take care of it and it will provide for you. And then you can compare with the current as and date. By that you can see that before COVID and after COVID, what is my state of my business in terms of my production or whatever the sales happening or what are the orders from different regions, etc., etc. Then I'll be able to see that am I on par with my previous operations or the productivity or revenues or I'm not. This information you can get upfront without you doing much of coding or producing the activities. Of course, you are going to do the basic coding required in order to do the embeddings and in order to extract the RAG from the LLM DBs, using the LLM from the Vertex DB, you need to extract it. And then also, one is answering it. There are two different types. I'll be explaining that in the coming sessions, sorry, the coming slides, where we have something known as a chatbots for simpler query answer based, whereas certain actions that you want to perform is nothing but tasks you want to perform. Then you'll be able to automate the complex tasks too. So both are possible by using the lang chain. Let me move. So that's all in terms of the Gen AI. Of course, we need to invest our time in terms of understanding how it works and the lengthy documentation that they provided. Though you go to the YouTube, you'll not find enough information, but the LangChain documentation itself is having a detailed sampling because it is an API driven. In the API driven, you'll always see the payloads and responses and as well as additional information required. Now, before I drive into the solutions you can build using the LangChain, let's little come back to our SCM. Because in the SCM, in the strategy, what is the thing the strategy you are going to do? In the strategy you are going to make, hey, I'm going to invest in the AI solutions. In order to invest in my AI solutions, what is the strategy that I need to follow? Because investing on the AI solutions, there's supposed to be some objective for you. What is your current state and what is your future state? What is that you want to achieve? What results you want to achieve? And what is the cost that is involved? And what are the other activities that you need to perform in order to transition from non-AI based to the AI based solutions? In order to do that kind of strategy analysis and strategy activities, of course, the supply chain obviously will be doing your SEM related whatever the steps. It could be the procurement or it could be the manufacturing, the actual operations, and then the warehouse management or the transportations slash the distribution, and then the order management. All these are the various steps that we perform. You'll be making your statistical decisions and the strategy planning towards that. So, a couple of examples: detect the vehicles and the boxes to fast track loading and unloading. Nothing but with the AI solutions. You might see that AR VR solutions, or you have seen that the auto recognition of certain tags that are in place by the sensors. Because in the AI, it's not only the ML, deep learning, and machine learning, and traditional and Gen AI, even your IoT, Internet of Things, also plays a bigger role, no doubt in that. So, detect vehicles and boxes. So, by that, loading and unloading can be pre-assessed, and then the required staff or the machinery or robots can be employed. Provide retailers insights on in terms of like the movement of your goods from the store to the retailers. What is the right time in the sense like the seasons, or it could be the weekends or weekdays or time of the day when the retailers are coming, and what are their preferences? What are their preferences? Especially this IKEA, Walmart, and all these people will be keeping a lot of effort in this particular space in order to attract and ensure that the customer is get attracted and they buy it. They do a lot of analysis on this. And then if there is a conveyor belt where the things are progressing, because in most of the manufacturing we know that let it be cement to the whatever the other manufacturing, always there are conveyor belts which are going to carry the whatever the finished parts of the goods are. It could be the finished good or packaged goods, whatever it is. All those, well, it is moving on the conveyor belt. We have seen, right, the different ways of falling the items here and there. Not necessarily all of them will be in a structured format unless a robot is feeding them in the required manner. So, accordingly, on the conveyor belt, if you have certain load of the items are dumped, now the conveyor belt is moving. Now you need to scan it somewhere, either humanly or manually or automated way. Then based on how the goods are aligned, the speed of the conveyor is also automatically controlled. By that, whenever there are uneven way of presenting the things, it will wait for extra time. Then with these activities, you can avoid the downtime as things are more of streamlined, more of running in a controlled manner. So, and identify and separate the damaged boxes. Because for this, just to give an example, we built one of the solution for one of the insurance agency in the USA. So what we do is like we use the OpenCV module from the Python, which is ideally used for AI models. So we give a 1 minute video of your damaged vehicle. You made an accident, so now you want to just shoot it 1 minute around the vehicle in a good lighting condition and provide that video. By that, what we have done is cut that video into the at least minimum 1200 to 1500 frames, and each of the frame is representing a part of the vehicle. We already have the pre-designed module where the similar kind of video is given with all things in place without damage. So now the comparison will happen, and as per the comparison, the assessment of the damage, the volume of the damage happened, will be assessed automatically. So if it is able to do to that extent, then automatically this whatever the damaged boxes or goods are also possible. So we can identify them and separate them. So by that, the next course of action can be taken, which is humanly there might be a possibility of missing out. One side, if you see that, if you don't see the other side, you may miss it, but there's no scope over here. So improved quality. Simulate the solutions before you deploy it. Yes, we have the option of whatever the activities that you are doing. Yes, you can provide certain sample data to simulate to see that how your solution is working. Once you are confident and comfortable in terms of, because in the trial and error based, you have to train our models in certain ways, both in the traditional AI as well as in the Gen AI. The way you train in the Gen AI is slightly different. I'll be explaining that shortly. But otherwise, yes, simulations are possible. Then automate the order packaging and as well as picking. And then analyze for transportation and distribution, analyze the traffic and suggest the best routes that it can go. All this can be automated to the fullest. And you'll see that the respective bots and agents will be responding to you and automating the activities and auto triggering for you to take the next step without you digging into the details of it. So that is the possibility of the different areas. Two main things that we'll be building using the lang chain in the Gen AI space are chatbots, and another one is agents. Chatbots are like this is not something new. We have been already using for the banks and all this. You will see that you go on the online. The moment if you go there, there is a chat window coming up. You just chat it; it is going to respond it. But all those are predefined rules that was already there in the system that it is responding based on the user query. There is no NLP or NLU is applied. Natural language processing capabilities are not applied. So in the Gen AI, when you generate a chatbot, a true NLP will be applied over here. So it is going to automating your tasks. You can go ahead and instruct it. Yes, absolutely, you can do that in the bot also. All I can take is I can take my mobile, then I can start doing my activities. I can instruct my LLM in order to do the certain booking of the orders or delivery of the orders or packaging of the orders. Everything I can do it. By that, you'll be able to communicate better to the relevant parties of both receiver and as well as sender, and real-time data insights in terms of what is the inventory that you have and how the routes are congested and based on the weather conditions or traffic conditions. and then it will be helping you to save certain cost, and moreover it is available 24 by 7. All the AI agents, AI bots and digital assistants, all these names we give, all of them are available 24 by 7 to do, whereas humanly there is a limitation. All right, simplifying customer service, improving decision making. So most of the time, yes, the chatbots will be, you query something, it will answer you effectively based on your data that you feed in. Instead of going for the chat GPT, I have given my organizational data to the GPT, my local GPT. By that, it got trained on it. Now, what are the queries I'm going to ask? It is going to provide the answer to that. So, as part of that, of course, you are going to segregate what kind of answers to what kind of audience and what kind of data it can access, the embeddings. You are going to segregate it. It is again a kind of architectural decision that you need to make. I would like to make a statement here. In order to work and make these things, we definitely need SME, subject matter expert, or a seasoned techie who can understand the underlying things. Straightforward coming up with a junior level engineers, it'll be little challenging, because for doers, the AI will come and then help you a lot, automatically doing the things without you investing your time. But for the thinkers and as well as solution providers, AI cannot provide much of it. You need to instruct it what need to be done. So bots we have seen, now agents. All right, I might be taking 10 minutes more. Abdul, is that fine, right?
Yeah, please continue, Suresh Garu. Yeah,
Okay.
you have that luxury. Yes.
All right. Then we have the agents. Well, the bots are solving more of a question answer type of activities for customer support activities, and as well as the additional information related information that I want to query regarding certain political party or organization or weather or whatever it is, based on what you trained. Agents comes with I just named it as a transformational forces. When I say transformational forces, we experimented with both, doing a lot many things, because in the lang chain we have something known as a tools. Tool nothing but a specific activity that you perform. For example, if I take a car will be assembled with the help of whatever the other parts that you procure from the other places. It could be steering or tire or mirror, glass, whatnot, body, everything will be procuring from different places, engine, then you are going to assemble it. So in the similar manner, the way we know that activity, here also you are going to just prepare the low level tasks. Again, prepare that low level tasks using the Gen AI itself. Just to give a sample example, I'm a little passionate towards the training, mentoring, coaching, and all that. As a person, I enjoy that. So last 1 week, just last Friday to this Friday, we're able to develop one learning management system end to end.